They got, I'm trying to think who they got here. They got Sandy Alcantara, who's a top prospect in the Cardinals organization. Magneuris Sierra, another top prospect. And they got 2 more prospects on their list. So a few people I've never heard of. So
you're sounding like you think the Marlins actually got a pretty good deal for this.
They got a good haul.
What does this do for the Cardinals?
The Cardinals are instant contenders again.
Okay. So, I mean, that's... And baseball's being shaken up a lot because Yankees are now contenders again. Angels, we'll see maybe if Ohtani pans out. Cardinals, now you're saying, are instant contenders again.
And they're talking about getting Josh Donaldson or Manny Machado. Yeah, so
if they got Machado, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, I'd be like, they might be better than the Cubs at that point. But yeah, no, the Cardinals are definitely instant contenders, I think, with this trade. They have ridiculous power now in the outfield. It's as a Cubs fan, I'm not very happy, but it's a great deal for them.
Speaking of Cubs, we got Tyler Chatwood.
Yeah.
Tell me about Tyler Chatwood, because he's a more unknown guy. He's not not a star that
he's pitched in Colorado for the last 5 years. His home and road splits are what got him this big deal with the Cubs. His home ERA in Coors Field, which we all know is just a hitter's dream, his ERA was 6.11, which is terrible, obviously. But on the road, it was 3.50. So, I mean, he was spectacular in road games over his career the last 5 years. I think the Cubs are just banking on that.
And another get for the Cubs, because you have this in he's a little bit farther down, but since we're already talking about the Cubs, Brandon Morrow
pitched 70 innings last year, didn't give up a single home run. So just
getting more pitchers. You guys haven't lost. Arrieta hasn't signed yet.
He's basically gone.
Yeah, he's basically gone.
Arrieta's gone. Brandon Morrow, he's
finding ways to replace him in other ways.
Yeah, Chatwood is. I mean, Arrieta was a buy low trade candidate. I mean, nobody had heard of him. He was casted out, and the Cubs got him. He won the Cy Young. I mean, Tyler Chatwood, I wouldn't say is a cast out because. I mean, how much we have with analytics now. I mean, be able to see the home road splits, but it was a good jump for the Cubs. Brandon Morrow is a bullpen asset, and now I'll talk more about this, but it's all about the relievers. I mean, especially when you get to the postseason, these teams their starters going 4 innings, and then they're going 5 innings in the bullpen.
What is your you guys did lose Arrieta, so that's a starter gone. What's your starting lineup look like now?
Right now, it's
your starting rotation.
Yeah, Kyle Hendricks. John Lester, Jose Quintana, Tyler Chatwood, and they're working on a 5th. They're trying to get Alex Cobb, which would be another big free agent signing. And
a small signing. It's way down on this list, but since we're already talking about the Cubs, I think it would make sense. Drew Smiley, and you said on here he won't play in 2018 because he's just coming off of Tommy John.
Yeah, he's another kind of buy low. I mean, he's kind of a buy low candidate. He's got really good young. He's young. He's got good stuff. Good pitching from the left side. I guess you can't really have too much of that now, especially when you got Bryce Harper and Daniel Murphy, and Corey Seager or Cody Bellinger, players like that. So he's kind of there. He might pitch at the end of the year, like in the bullpen, just to get some reps in. But great. I mean, free agent now. Might as well just get him into your system. Get him familiar with everybody. He's somebody that they could definitely use next, like the following year.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Losing Arrieta is a big blow for the Cubs. I mean, he was a really good pitcher there for 3 years.
Yeah.
Is this enough for the Cubs to? I mean, I don't think they're out of the conversation if they just lost Arrieta. But is this enough for the Cubs to go over that hump, especially with like other big signings, like you said for the who were we just talking about?
Cardinals?
The Cardinals. Yes.
I
was like, who are we just talking about? They're the same division.
Yeah, they still need one more pitcher. They have to either get Yu Darvish or Alex Cobb. If they don't get one of those, they're going to be in trouble. Because
you think so? Like in trouble?
They'll win 85 games, but they need somebody who can win another 10 for them. I really think.
So you're not high on the Cubs then right now.
Not until they get a fifth. They don't have a 5th pitcher. If they get a 5th pitcher, then yeah.
I know, but I mean. So if you were to get in the playoffs, you don't need 5 pitchers.
No. If they got to the playoffs, I'd be okay.
You don't think they would make the playoffs with their roster as constituted right now? Is that what you're saying? You don't think the Cubs would make the playoffs?
The pitching is really bad right now. They gotta bolster the bullpen. They gotta get another rotation.
I mean, you still have 2 aces.
I know. We do 3 kind of.
I mean, two Cy Young nominees.
Yeah, so. Hendricks and Lester, unreal.
Yeah.
I guess they're probably a playoff team. I mean, they're going to be in it. I'm not worried. I'm not.
It sounds like you're worried.
No.
It sounds like you're tempering your expectations it's back to the old Cubs now.
Not that far. The hitting is still on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even if you have one bad pitcher, you're what you're saying right now
I'm
is
so used to winning now, man.
I know you're oh man, our fifth pitcher is really bad. And he's going to get bailed out of some games just because your hitting is really, really good.
Yeah, so, that's true.
I think you guys are still fine. You guys obviously aren't as good as you were last year, but
right.
I still think you're good in it. And we don't know how the Cardinals this is going to work out for them or anything. Yeah. So, moving on. Mike Minor to the Rangers.
I'll go through a lot of these. Mike Minor to the Rangers. Anthony Swarzak to the Mets. Rockies get Jake McGee and Greg Holland. It's just the relief pitchers. Yeah. It's just teams that want to contend and get these guys. I mean, the Mets aren't going to contend. Swarzak's going to, if he comes in and has a great first half, they're going to trade him and get tons of value for him. And that's what it is. These playoff teams are all about these guys that can come in the 7th, 8th, 9th innings of playoff games and shut down opposing lineups. I mean, Brandon Morrow got paid because he came in and he shut down the Houston Astros for 7 games in the World Series.
So, of these relief signings, because these are all relief pitchers, mm-hmm. Who do you think got the best deal, and who does this elevate the most? Does this make the Rangers much better, or the Mets much better, or the Rockies much better? Who takes the biggest step forward when these relief signings?
I think the Rangers, because Mike Minor can kind of hybrid for him. If they need him to start a game here and there, that he can. If they need him to pitch 4 innings out of the bullpen, he can. So that's big for them. And I think, he pitched phenomenally last year. He came off of Tommy John, got a 1-year deal with the Royals, pitched great, and he got paid obviously with the Rangers. So. I think that's the biggest one of those names, and the Rangers are going to try and compete. They don't ever try to just tank and add prospects. They're a team that always is looking to make moves and try to compete every year.
All right, another interesting signing though that's not a relief pitcher, because all of these names that we've talked about, aside from one, has been a pitcher.
Yeah,
especially Stanton's the only non-pitcher we've talked about. Well, I guess we talked about Ozuna, yeah. But D. Gordon to the Mariners. And it seems like the Mariners always get they always get a decent free agent.
This is a trade.
D. Gordon, but D. Gordon, they always get something in the offseason.
That's what I said. This is what I said in the last podcast. Every year they add something, and every year it doesn't matter. They always win 82, 83 games.
They got the best second baseman in baseball 2 or 3 years ago.
Cano. Yeah. Then they got Nelson Cruz. Yeah. And then now you're talking about D. Gordon, who's going to play in center field for him, which is really going to make things interesting. I thought they were going to move Cano to DH, but then I guess they're going to roll with. They're going to roll with Gordon.
So is this the thing that puts the Mariners over the hump? Because they're always a decent team. They're never bad.
Yeah, they always win 80-something games. Yeah. I'm saying this. Take this with a grain of salt. But they should be in the playoffs this year. There is no reason they shouldn't. D. Gordon was great last year.
Their lineup actually looks pretty lethal, honestly. Yeah. Because D. Gordon's probably one of the, if not, he's not the best, but he's really one of the best leadoff hitters.
Absolutely.
In the game.
He's going to get you on base. He's going to get. You're talking about their first 4 are now going to be D. Gordon, Robinson Cano, Nelson Cruz, and Kyle Seager. That's a great...
Shout out to Kyle Seager.
Yeah.
Concord boy.
And that's a phenomenal first 4 hitters. So it's I don't know. They should definitely be in the playoffs. Their pitching should be really good. Felix Hernandez is kind of on the down half of his career, but he still should be serviceable.
I know he had a few games last year where he was oh, it's old Felix again.
Yeah, but I don't know. I root for the Mariners every year.
Mariners are they're a fun team. They just never pull it together.
Still haven't been in the playoffs since 2001.
They go on these runs and stuff, and they're oh, the Mariners off to a great start, and then it's just
I know
it's funny. The Mariners don't make the playoffs, but teams like the Rockies do. It doesn't make...
and Gene Segura. Sorry, forgot about him too.
Segura's pretty good.
Also great.
Former Diamondback.
I feel like
pretty
I'm missing
good.
Somebody.
Former Diamondback, pretty good.
So, he'll bat second,
Yeah.
Cano third, Cruz fourth, and Seager's batting 5. Like,
that's a really good top 5. Okay, so now correct me if I'm wrong, these are rumors now that we're getting into.
Yeah, we're going all the way down. Yeah.
Yeah. So, how would you talk about some of the bigger rumors out there? And I actually see some pretty big names in this, especially as we get further down the list.
Yeah, I started just adding as I was going. Well, I know the Diamondbacks and Rangers have been talking to trade basically the whole winter meetings. The D-backs, they really want JD Martinez back. Like, they really want him back.
Yeah, I see why.
I mean, he was so good.
He was so good, but I mean, also it's a career, so you have to be like,
yeah.
If you're the D-backs, don't give up too much for keeping JD Martinez.
Right.
Like,
really, I mean, they've talked about dumping Greinke's salary, which is going to be hard to do. But the problem is, and rightfully so, the Diamondbacks want to dump Greinke's salary and still get a pitcher in return, which I totally get because Zach Greinke was phenomenal last year.
I know.
But it's so hard because he's making so much money.
But, like, if you're the Diamondback, like, this is just me as a fan. Maybe I'm just ignorant. Zach Greinke won you more games than JD Martinez did.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. JD was so good.
He was so good, but we were already a playoff team before JD got there.
But I think JD stabilized the lineup when Paul Goldschmidt went on his little slump kind of in the middle of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I get why JD's, like, why we want JD back. But we just signed Zach Greinke 2 years ago.
I know.
To, like, this big deal.
Yeah, and he had a kind of rough first year, but he was great.
Well, he was injured most of his first year, and then
he was really good last year.
He was really, really good last year, and I don't know why we're so quick to be like, no, this guy that had a really, really good second half of the season, we got to go in on him.
Yeah, I understand. I kind of understand both. That's why the Diamondbacks.
I mean, I would love to keep JD too, but maybe spend a little bit more money, Diamondbacks. That's maybe how you do it.
Yeah, probably, but I get why the Diamondbacks aren't just going to give. They're not just going to give Greinke away. I mean, a lot like Stanton wasn't given away, but he kind of was given away. Like, they're not going to do that with Greinke. They're not going to say, "Oh, we just want to free up money." Like,
so, who are the What are the Rangers rumored to send back in return? Like, what's being talked about right now?
It's real. It's kind of. It wasn't really that close. So I mean, the Rangers kept kind of pestering the Diamondbacks, and we want a pitcher. We want a pitcher. The Diamondbacks were like,
because the Rangers
want one back.
Rangers losing their best pitchers.
Yeah,
so.
and Yu Darvish, he'll be gone. So. The Rangers talked about Patrick Corbin. That would be also, shed that money a little bit. Maybe you can
take Corbin.
Maybe you could free up a little bit more somewhere, like maybe Drury, and free up a little bit more and get JD Martinez. Maybe, like you said, spend that a little extra money and go for it.
Okay, Diamondbacks, this is how you win in baseball. No one has ever won a World Series by not spending money. People have gone deep in the playoffs, and if that's all you want to do, just come out and say it. Because you're not going to win the World Series because it takes once you do that Moneyball stuff, people start finding out, that guy's a pretty good player. And once they go into free agency, they just offer him all the money in the world.
Yep.
And then you're just poached.
Yeah.
So stop. You were on the right track when you gave Zach Greinke money because you're like, okay, we're
they're crazy. They snuck in because it was like Dodgers
because no one ever talked about the Diamondbacks throwing around money and they finally did it. And look where it got you, the playoffs.
Yeah,
keep doing that.
Yeah, they're gonna have to. I think another reason they want to get JD is they're afraid Pollock's going to leave them next year in free agency.
Yeah, so, I'd be afraid of that too.
Which I get. I mean, you've got to get an outfielder now. You got to. I mean, I'm not saying you have to pick one or the other, but you've got to go for an outfielder and stick with it. And I need one.
I don't know how the money situation was in 2001 because I was way too young to remember. But something tells me that you were not in this we have to be under $100 million salary little thing that you were doing. Maybe
oh yeah, Randy Johnson.
Yeah, because you had Randy Johnson,
Luis Gonzalez, Kurt
Schilling, Luis Gonzalez. You had all these all-star players. There's no way that you were doing. I mean, with inflation and stuff, it probably wasn't $100 million back then. It was probably around 75 or something like that. But that's how you win World Series, and that's how you win championships. You go out and spend money.
Yeah,
you can be smart about it. You can be smart about it too, but don't be so cheap, Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I think they've done a much better job the last 2 years. You have to give them that.
I know, I did give them that. They did a really good job of going out and signing Zach Greinke. You were there.
And trading for JD, but
you were there when I was when we read that, and I was like, we actually spent money on somebody? I've never seen that number in my life.
Under shock.
Yeah. So it's just just keep doing what you're doing. led you to being more like a better team.
Yeah.
So take that as like a sign. Oh, maybe we should keep doing this. Not like let's just give up on that already. Let's give up on that whole money thing already.
Right.